How's it going, guys? My name is Ishaan, and in this video we're going to be covering the Amazon of Russia that just went public. I'm going to be covering everything you need to know about the company fundamentally, a full technical breakdown where I break down the exact places to buy, and along with that a full discounted cash flow model where I break down whether the company is overvalued, undervalued, and where exactly the stock should really be at. So this is a really value-packed video, and on this channel we only cover quality companies with real fundamentals that have massive growth ahead. Only last week I called out Dynatrace and now it's up 30% from that point, and it's a good quality company. With that being said, if you appreciate these short and value-packed videos, make sure to drop a quick sub and let's clock in. Alright, so the Russian Amazon stock we're going to be talking about today is called Ozon Holdings, or a ticker symbol OZON. It's up over 100% from its original IPO price of $30, and it's just been running and running. Currently, I have 15 shares at an average of 66, so I did buy pretty high, but I'm honestly not too worried because it's just an initial starter position, and I will most likely buy more if the stock dips. So essentially, the company sells everything from furniture to clothing, and they also have a fintech business, which is their Ozon cards that people can use to shop online. So they've somewhat diversified their business, and they're currently the number 2 player in the Russian e-commerce market, just behind Wildberries, which is a private company. So there are a few reasons why I really think the stock still has massive growth. With the pandemic, their growth has really exploded, and this is actually crucial and bigger than you think. You see, Russia is different than America. The Russian e-commerce industry is still several times smaller than the world's leading markets. People there still do not trust e-commerce and online shopping, and I even read in an interview with Ozon's former CEO where she said that people in Russia would literally pay in cash and only pay once their package had been actually delivered. However, this pandemic has changed a lot of that and will continue to favor Ozon down the line, as their gross merchandise value, or basically the number of sales they made, was up 142% year over year, and they had quarters where revenue grew 70 and 90% year over year. They're the number 2 player, and there's still a lot of room to grow in the Russian e-commerce market, which is still relatively in its early stages where people are really just starting to shop online. However, there are a few risks. One is that Sistema and Baring Vostok private equity funds owns 45.2% and 45.1% respectively of the company. Essentially, these two firms have so much control over the company, and they could dump all their shares if they wanted to. And I'm not saying that that will happen, but it does worry me a little seeing that these two firms own so much of the company and have so much power, and Ozon even themselves say that. The next risk is their massive debt. Obviously, now that they had an IPO, it won't really be that big of a concern, but they literally have double the current liabilities than assets, which they can use to pay it off. That's going to have to change if they want to stay in business going further. They definitely have the cash now, but they have to figure it out so that that does not happen again. Before I do jump into the technical analysis though, be sure to check out the Gen Z Trader Academy to get access to 5+ hours of no fluff trading videos where I break down everything you need to know about technical analysis, and right now I'm actually going through the process of updating old lessons and adding new and even more value-packed lessons. So be sure to check out the Gen Z Trader Academy if you want to support the channel and up your trading with technical analysis. Alright, so taking a look at Ozon stock, we found some resistance right around this $57 level right over here, but what ended up happening was that we formed an ascending triangle and broke out higher. Now if I zoom in a little closer, we're finding support around the $63 level right around here, but we are also forming a descending triangle now. For back here we formed an ascending triangle, which is a sign of a breakout higher. Now we're forming a descending triangle, which is a sign of a breakout lower. However, if we can continue to hold above the $63 level, I would personally look to add more to my position. If we break below 63, the next level of support would be all the way down here at at 56, and that's where I would be looking to buy more. But again, we're just gonna have to wait and see how this descending triangle plays out. If we squeeze lower, then 56 would be the next level, but we could even squeeze higher, and in that case the stock would probably find some resistance right around the $68 level. Another thing, if you take a look at the selling volume, it's increased quite a bit. The selling volume represented by these red bars is now considerably higher than these green bars. As you can see, we had some massive buying volume in this initial rally, but now the sellers are really stepping up and trying to push the stock down. And I mean, it does make sense. This stock was at around $30 and now it has went up to almost 70. So it does kind of make sense why the stock is selling off now. But again, we're just gonna have to wait and see how this triangle plays out. Alright, so taking a look at the discounted cash flow model for Ozon stock, we're essentially going to be figuring out how much Ozon should actually be worth today based on future cash flows. So the tax rate we're going to be using is 0% because Ozon is actually incorporated in the Cayman Islands, and any profits earned outside the country are tax free, so pretty good for them. Then for the discount rate, we're going to be using 12%. We basically use the discount rate or cost of equity to find the present value of the future cash flows. Then we're going to be using the perpetual growth rate of 2%, which is the average of the US long-term bond yields. Then the current price of the stock is 65 as of me recording this, and they have 208 million shares. So taking a look at the 10-year DCF, they're actually going to be generating negative free cash flow for 2021 and 2022, but starting 2023 they'll be generating about $319 million in free cash flow. And yes, these have all been converted to USD and are not in rubles. And then going all the way to 2030, where they're expected to generate about $2.5 billion in free cash flow. So adding them all up using the 12% discount rate, then we get 4.9 billion, which is the present value of all those future cash flows. From that, we can find the terminal value of the company, which is basically the value of Ozon for perpetuity after the 10 years, and the present value of that terminal value, which we can find using the discount rate, is about 8.3 billion. So adding those up, we get about 13.29 billion, and currently the stock is actually trading at a market cap of 13.5 billion. So then dividing the total equity value by the number of shares, we get a current equity value of 63.8. So that means currently the stock, which is trading at 65, is actually trading 2% more expensive than it should be. And so I know I took an initial position, and I admit I did somewhat FOMO into the stock, but I took a very small starter initial position, so I'm not too worried if I do go into the negative. But you know, honestly, I think the stock still could be higher, that considering the massive growth rate that it's seeing and the fact that the Russian e-commerce market is only just continuing to explode. I think it doesn't really matter that it's trading 2% above its total equity value. If you take a look at companies like Tesla, NIO, a lot of these companies are trading well above their equity value. Seeing how fast Ozon is growing, this does not concern me as much as it would with other companies. So guys, that's the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and check out the Gen Z Trader Academy if you want to support the channel and take your trading to the next level with technical analysis and so much more. And with that being said, let me know down below what you guys think about Ozon stock. Do you plan to buy? Do all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy, clocking out for now. Peace.